Hi, everyone. This is EstaRa with a message for you for the week of November 17th, 2016. So I am back. Same day. I did a message earlier today that was, I believe, all over the place. I don't recall what I said, quite often when I record my videos. But this one is the reading that I promised. And I want to say that I just started recording at 5:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so 5:55, if you all know what that means, 5:55 is usually the number of huge change is coming. Hold on to your hats, hold on to your seats, get ready to run. I feel like that's a really good message to share with all of you. I feel like we're in a really big timeline of shifting and changing. So I recorded my message for you earlier today. And after I left, I went outside, beautiful sunny day here in Connecticut, actually unseasonably warm, but beautiful. And it felt wonderful. And I just got some beautiful fresh air around me. And I just felt this calm and peacefulness that I hadn't felt for the last few days. And it's really interesting because when I'm feeling that, I look around and people seem really scattered in humanity. They seem really anxious and off balance. And I totally understand that and could relate to that because that's what I had been feeling myself, being out of balance or just not in my own alignment, my regular alignment. So that's an interesting thing that I noticed today when I went out there. I felt very calm and balanced, and then I saw everyone else kind of scattered. I don't know about you, but in this area, driving, oh my goodness, it's like no one drives very safely, and literally almost got hit 5 times the other night. It was like ridiculous. People cutting people off, and then just like, you're driving down the road and they decide they're going to turn out in front of you, which makes absolutely no sense because there's nobody behind me, but you're going to cut right in front of me. It's very strange. Or coming in. So I was coming in the in direction of where I live, and this woman was going out the in direction. So we were like almost head on collision. Thank goodness I'm aware and I'm awake. I just feel like that's kind of what's going on out there in terms of humanity. So there's lots of chaos going on. So bring yourself grounded and centered. Bring us, peace is what we really need. So anyway, let's get to the reading. So just before I turned on the recording of this video, I shuffled the cards and I'm going to pull a few cards. So let's start with the Divine Masculine. I like this. Okay, this is the Divine Masculine card. Do you see that? That is, the sword is glowing. It's the 10 of Swords card. And it's like 10 swords surrounding the inner demon, the monster, if you will. And I consider this to be the mental, the brain, and the inner demon of the Divine Masculine. So for me, when I look at this card, I feel like what it's representing for Divine Masculine is that they are beginning to master what is going on in their life. So I believe the last few months, it's been a shakeup of energy. So one of the things that I noticed for myself was a lot of mental and physical stuff coming up for me. So for me, the Divine Feminine in my relationship, I've had a lot of mental, physical things. And I feel like the Divine Masculine has had a lot more, or my Divine Masculine, he's had a lot more emotional, spiritual stuff, I think, surfacing for him. Now, in my world, emotional, spiritual, I can navigate it. It's easy. I get it. It might feel yucky sometimes because the emotional, you're feeling it. But I am comfortable in that. I feel right at home and I feel like I can just snuggle up with it, right? Well, for my Divine Masculine, that is like anything but comfortable. That is awkward, weird, agitating, anxiety promoting and provoking, and just share like craziness for him. And then if you look at where I was dealing with more the mental, physical recently, being kind of forced by the universe, if you will, and by spirit. And that is uncomfortable, like disconcerting for me. And, that's where he feels at home and comfy. So I feel like this card is saying that the Divine Masculine is beginning to find mastery over his emotions and his thoughts and his beliefs and his patterns, beginning to understand it. And I say mastery because that's the word that's coming in, but I also see this beautiful gold light around the sword. And I feel like he's captivated what he needs to do. He's got it. It's not quite in the ground. If you look closely, it's not quite in the ground yet, but he's got it. It's coming into his awareness. So to me, he's learning to navigate this new energy. Now, is he great at it? Probably not. Is it like something that is like a hit or miss right now? Perhaps so. But I feel like the divine masculine, that is what they are doing currently. They are working on mastery, learning to master and learning to navigate the energy that we are currently in, which means that they're like, he's learning to navigate himself, his energy, just like we are, but I feel like this is a really great sign for our divine masculine because I'm liking it to thoughts. So he's learning to pay attention to what's going on in his thoughts and seeing if they're real or not. My guys are also saying that his thinking is becoming more open. So he's closing out the parts of his thinking that no longer serve. And that's what this is about. That's what they're telling me. Thank you, Twin Flame Collective. They've been really present with me today, probably because I've been begging for some advice and guidance. Okay, so let's pull a card for the feminine. This card's very cool. I like it. Child of Hearts. This is for the divine feminine for this week. You look at it, you see Goldilocks looking into the window, and you see her with the two plants there. Now, normally when I see this card, I usually get a very different perspective than I'm getting at this moment. But when I look at this card, I see it as like, oh, I'm excited for what's to come. Oh, I have something to be excited about. What am I creating? Now, when I usually see this card, which I'm sure you've heard in other previous videos, usually when I see this card, I typically feel something more like trying to figure out where she belongs. This feels like I'm creating, and look, I'm getting excited. I'm anticipating. I'm almost, it's almost like Christmas. If you think of Christmas and you think about how someone gets all excited, that is what this card symbolizes for me. Like I'm getting anxious and I'm getting excited to go forward. So I love this for the divine feminine for this week. Let me see if the Twin Flame Collective has anything they would like to add to it. Okay, so they're telling me she's got her energy of love inside of her. So if you see, there is a beautiful winged heart on her head, but over here, she's got like suspenders or something on that is all hearts in there. And how amazing that really is, because that means that she's stayed in her heart, and she's almost, it's almost like a badge of courage, but it's a badge of love. And I feel like this card really symbolizes for the divine feminine this energy of love around her, and learning to be in that space of love in her heart, because that means she's out of fear. So that's what this card symbolizes for me for the divine feminine. So that's what we're going to be working on and mastering this week. Okay, let's go to the next card. So this card here is going to symbolize the divine union, the two together. I love it. Oh, I'm getting like a little tingly inside. This is Sleeping Beauty. What does that mean? Well, Sleeping Beauty, most people think, oh, she's sleeping. Uh-oh. There's all these beautiful poppies around her. When I look at this card, the first feeling that I get when I look at this is that there is a divine wake-up call going out again. And I think the 1111 gateway was that. I actually feel like that was a true awakening to all. And as I'm looking, I'm seeing 11 on my thing over here. And I've been seeing a lot of 11 the last 2 days, particularly. So to me, it's like, okay, you guys have been doing your stuff. Like my earlier video today, I had talked about how I needed to learn to bring me more into a priority thing. Apologize, my phone is dinging and I thought I shut it off. It's still making noise. I put in this energy of, explaining to you that I really feel like my big thing is to prioritize me and my union and my twin, to prioritize us over other things that I've been letting go in front of me. And what that tells me is this is the universe saying, yep, it's time. We're going to wake you all up. So the slumber that I feel like is represented by Sleeping Beauty is actually representing each twin separately being consumed by whatever's going on. So remember, the last several months, we have had tremendous amount of healing, tremendous amount of clearing, tremendous amount of things being kicked up in every direction of our lives. And I feel like what that means is that while my twin has been dealing with that emotional, spiritual thing and really like tugging at his heartstrings, really working on him to get clear about what's going on inside of him externally and how he feels about me and about everything, I feel like for me, I've been really in the physical, mental, dealing with like all the constructs that I don't usually like to deal with, because being more comfortable, obviously, in the emotional, spiritual world, it's not exciting to me, and it's not where I really want my focus to be. So that is my little slumber that I've been in, and that's where he's been. So I feel like each of us have had our own places we've been focused on, like so focused to the exclusion of everything else, and so focused to the exclusion of other things. And so I think both masculine and feminine have done that. So when I look at this card, I don't see it as we're still sleeping. I actually see this beautiful, I believe it's just a horse. Yes, it's not a unicorn. I see a horse and a beautiful magical like fairy creature up here, bringing down some magic and saying, it's time. We're coming now. We're waking you up. It is time. Time to come together. Time to come out of your slumber, recognize what you need to do. And this actually speaks to a little bit about what I've discovered in the last few days about making me priority. So if I make me priority, then I'm gearing more towards what it is I really want versus just letting things flow and happen. Now, when I say letting things flow and happen, I don't mean that I shouldn't let things flow and happen. What I mean is I can take a more active role, because this energy is more of an active role going forward. So I really like this card. I think I like this card better than all the other cards I've seen for the masculine and feminine for this week. And I just encourage you to strongly take a quick peek at what's going on in your life and what are you waking up from? Because for me, I'm waking up from just my head down in the grind, doing the work and doing all that stuff, and for everything else in my life, everybody else and everything else, and not for me. And so that's waking me up to, okay, I need to focus on us again. This is my job. This is where I'm supposed to be. And also, it's a place for us to discover our truth, like what is it that we're doing next? And I think for the divine masculine, they're doing the same things. They're going to have to wake up from where they've been. Doesn't matter what they've been doing, no matter how hard or difficult it may be. They're going to have this wake up call, and it's not like a traditional wake up call, but it's more of an epiphany will come across, and them realizing oh, I need to do something different, and I need to reach out. So I feel really positive about that. And it's funny, I said the word I need to reach out. I don't know why, but my guides just emphasized that was a word they gave me, is reaching out, or phrase. And so I want you to just really feel this card and just kind of feel into what that energy feels like, the magic. You see the stars just falling down on top of Sleeping Beauty. There's magic in the air, and it feels really good to me. And they're telling me, really hold on, don't give up. There's still time. And there's still things coming, and we are in that process. I'm also drawn to something else that's really interesting. So I'm drawn to the mountains in the background of this card. And when I look at it, what I see, so I'm sure you can see a bunch of different colors, but when I hold this looking at the camera, when I look at it this way, I can't notice it. But when I look at it this way, I see just fire. I don't know if you can see the fire, but when I look at it directly head on, I'm not seeing the fire. But when I look at it through this camera, I actually can see like a fire. And I feel like the message that's coming, why I'm drawn to that is message. The fire started, it's not going out. And so I feel like that's for all of you. Your flame has begun to return to you. And so it's time for that to happen. It's not going out. It's not going away. It's never going to disappear. It's there. It's part of who you really are. And if you truly are on this twin flame journey, and this is where you're meant to be, union will happen. Don't give up. It's when we give up, oh no, I'm really dedicated. And then we give up, oh, no, I'm really dedicated. Back and forth. We're sending to the universe very confusing signals and messages. The universe doesn't really know what to do with us. Spirit's like, you want this? Yes. Okay, here you go. Oh, wait, nope, you don't want it. And so there's this back and forth energetically that we do when we manifest. And so that's why when I always talked about haphazardly manifesting, it's not being in that pure energy of this is what I want to create. And so I really want to emphasize with all of you that it's really imperative that we create from a sacred space, and that we create in a place of high frequency and high vibration. So my suggestion is, if you're in a frustrated, angry mood, the last thing you want to do is talk about your twin or think about your twin, because then you're carrying that frequency and vibration. The best that you can do is come into your heart, bring your energy back into your heart. Just simply imagine going into your heart, a little you crawling into you, walking down into your heart, or a little tiny you 2 inches tall. I usually picture it walking right into my heart chakra and entering my heart and finding a place to sit. I always see it as a house. So If you can do that, that will bring you there. Start focusing on your breath. And once you feel a little shift in your energy, by all means, think about your twin. But if you do before that, I feel like we're going to send energy that we don't intend to send. And it's probably convoluted and confusing energy. And it might be prickly, for our twin to receive. They may not have a clue about that, but they may. So I just want to encourage you to stay strong, stay true to you, stay in your path, and by all means, please stay in your heart and your truth, because that is really who you are. And that's why you're here. And that's why we're all here as twin flames. We're here to be true to who we are and in our heart. So I send you many blessings of love and light and a delightful, happy union. Namaste.